everyone, welcome to another edition of Eye on Oshkosh. I'm your host, Cheryl Hentz. My co-host for this evening is, well, it's unfortunate, she's sick. So we hope that you get better and start feeling well very soon, Sarah. I'm also joined tonight by a person who's been on the show a number of times over the years, Cheryl Rosenthal from the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. And she was going to be joined by a second guest this evening. The executive director of the shelter was going to be here, and unfortunately, mid-afternoon or sometime today, she had to make an emergency vet visit with one of her parrots. So. And that's all the way down in Madison, huh?
Yep. Wow. They have bird specialists there, and he's quite an old parrot, and he needed to be seen as soon as possible. So
how old is old? For
I have no idea.
I know they live.
She has two of them. I think one is at least. I'd be guessing.
Because I know they live to be like 80 or 90 years.
Yeah, and this one is really old. He's kind of a hospice parrot that they took on. And his name is Gizmo.
Gizmo, I love that. Gizmo.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping that they can help Gizmo. And
yes, well,
he finally landed in a really good home. They'll take good care of him.
All right. Well, so she's not able to join us this evening, but we certainly wish the best for Iava's parrot, Gizmo, and for Sarah McIninch, who will hopefully be here next time. So, a couple of things before we get started. I want to give kudos to everyone who's helping in the recovery, restoration, and renovation efforts after we were hit a week and a half ago by tornadoes in the Neenah, Menasha, and part of Appleton. You know, as someone whose house was hit by a tornado when I was 17 years old, I understand how that can be and the disruption to your life and everything associated with your life, how that can be. So we just want to send prayers and well wishes for those who have been affected in one way or another, and give kudos to those who are helping out no matter what they're doing. Things are needed all over the place. And I did get something today from the Winnebago County Emergency Management Director's Office. They just today started opening up a multi-agency resource center. So, and it's in a place in Menasha. It's got different hours depending on the day of the week. But if you go to the county's website, and make sure you're at Winnebago County, Wisconsin, because there is a Winnebago County, Illinois. And as someone who has unexpectedly landed on their site more than just a handful of times, just make sure you're on the Wisconsin site. But that will give you a lot of good information regarding everything that you could possibly need. So, and also I want to, on behalf of my crew, thank the members of the Oshkosh Common Council who voted to save Life TV, those council members being Paul Esslinger, Joe Stevenson, Alec Lefebvre, and Brad Spanbauer. They voted at the August 4th council meeting to save this. And, you know, the real winners, because we would be continuing to do this no matter what, but the real winners in this were the people of Oshkosh, so that they can continue watching their programming as they have for all these years, all these decades. And I want to thank also all the people who joined me in speaking out in one way or another, whether by email or, you know, social media posts and whatever, going in person to the council meetings, calling counselors. A lot of people reached out in many different ways, and so thank you to all of them. All right, now I'm pooped.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap for that. So let's talk about stuff going on at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. You know that you guys are one of my favorite guests.
Yes, I know, and we appreciate that so much. And we really appreciate all the support that we get from all of the people within our community.
Sure.
They have really touched us in so many different ways over the years.
Let me fully introduce you.
Yeah.
It's I'm joined by Cheryl Rosenthal. Now, she is a cat counselor, and she is also the outreach and education coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society, and you've been there for as many years as I think I've probably been affiliated with it.
I think it's like 28 or 29 years.
Something like that. You know, I can remember when I was, I don't know if I was on the board of directors yet, but I was doing the newsletter for the shelter, and we would get together in your dining room.
Yes.
And slap on mailing labels. We had like this whole little assembly line set up.
Many good memories. And do you remember the name of the newsletter? The Scoop.
The Scoop. Shelter Scoop.
Yep, the Shelter Scoop.
And I found a scoop that you would use to like scoop out a litter box.
Food.
So,
or
dog food.
Yep. So
So
those were good times. And
Yes.
we've come a long way since then.
We have, for
and
sure.
all of that, the thanks to you and, again, our community. A shelter can only provide the services that their community will support.
Right.
And so we've seen a lot of support over the years, and we continue to see that, and we are most appreciative of being able to, not everybody can do this kind of work.
Yeah.
And I give big applause and pats on the back to our staff. They see a lot of sad things, but we also see a lot of good
we're gonna
things and a
talk
lot
about
of
some of
happy
that.
things. So,
Yeah, the staff, the volunteers, the community, they all come together for that perfect blend or that perfect mix that helps you guys continue to do what we as a community need you guys to do.
right.
And,
And also our sponsors, we have a lot of business partners who respect the work that we do
Sure.
and are very supportive with their sponsorships. And so it's one team working
Right.
for the betterment of animals.
Yeah, yep. And that's how I feel about, the things that everybody in the community did to, rally for Keeping Life TV. We all came together to show how a true democracy should work, and everyone's coming together to show how a really solid, well-oiled machine you guys have at Oshkosh Area
Just
Humane
keep going.
Society.
We keep chugging along.
Yep. So the first thing is I've got a lot of things to talk about here, but we want to talk about the Walk for the Animals coming up on Saturday, September 12th. So tell us where it's being, I could probably answer those questions, but you're my guest. So
It is.
Tell us where it is.
It's going to be so much fun this year. You're just not going to believe it.
It is every year.
But we're getting better. I think
right.
we're getting a little
Well, tell us. Don't keep us in
we're getting
suspense.
into party mode. It's going to be from 8:30 to 11 o'clock at Sunnyview Expo Center, Barn A, same place that we were last year. And our theme this year is Get Colorful for a Cause. And so we're going to have tie-dyed shirts, and we're going to have a tie-dye station, and we're going to have a kissing booth, and we're going to have a lot of booths for kids' activities. We're going to have activities for the dogs like we always have in the past. We're having a DJ this year, so we got to have a little bit of music.
Haven't you had one in the past?
We've had it. The last 2 years we've had a band, and now this year we're going back to having a DJ. And we're having some food trucks there. Brewing Futures is going to be there, and it's so fun when they're there. And we've also got, we're going to have goodie bags, and of course our raffle baskets are always very, very popular. And we're going to have the police people from the police department there. We're going to have from the fire department.
And what will they all be doing, Cheryl?
Well, the fire department, of course, is going to be teaching us about fire safety. And we're hoping that one of our canine dogs will be able to be there so that we can have a demonstration on what the canines are doing. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. And of course, the whole basis of the Walk for the Animals is to raise funds for our medical fund. And that's usually quite a big chunk of our expenses is our medical fund. And so we're asking people to go out and raise pledges. You don't have to raise pledges, but it's helpful if you do. And all that information is on our website, ohs.org. Get your form, collect your, and you can win prizes by raising pledges. But if you just want to come for that day, that morning, to have a good time with your children, with your pet.
You don't even have to have a pet to walk. You don't even have to walk.
No, you don't even have to walk.
But it's
Just
a
come
short
and
walk. It's what, a half mile?
I think it's almost a mile, but
Almost
then
a
we
mile.
also have a shortcut. For people like me that I think I can do it, and then I get halfway there and I go, no, I'm going back.
Yeah.
I get pooped out too soon. So a lot of things going on.
When you mentioned the police department, I remember one year, and it's been a while, but I remember one year the police department was there with a radar gun, and they were able to, clock how
they
fast
clocked
your
how
dog
fast
could
the
run.
dogs were going. Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
They're not going to be doing that this year, but maybe it'll come
Maybe
back
next
if it's
year.
really popular.
Someone asked me about the kissing booths. Now that's, I'm assuming that is a booth where someone goes in with their own dog, and
I believe the kissing booth that's going to be there this year is for the new top dog. The new top dog, the Kiwanis, Mid-Morning Kiwanis has their fundraiser called the New Top Dog, where it's a photo contest.
Okay.
And the winning dog gets their picture on a can of beer that the owner gets to help design. And one of our favorite alumni won this year, and his name is Thomas. And he is just the sweetest, most laid-back, pudgy-faced little pity mix and gentle. He does not lick. And so the kissing booth is going to be for people to come up and kiss Thomas.
okay, so Thomas does not kiss. So
Yeah,
no wet kisses from
No
Thomas.
wet kisses from Thomas, but he's
Thomas
going
will
to be
have
there.
his picture on a can of beer, and
Yep,
Thomas's
it's
owner
We'll
gets
be
to
there.
help
Yep,
design
they'll
it.
be there.
That's cool.
And the beer was just released, I think it was a week or so ago. I can't remember.
Who did the can of, who's doing the beer?
The Kiwanis, it's a specially brewed beer from Fifth Ward.
Okay, Fifth Ward, that's what I was
Fifth Ward
wondering.
was the brewery that we partnered with for this fundraiser. And now I can't think of the name of the beer. It's something Pucker. It's just really fun.
Well, when
And
we're
we're just so thrilled
remind me to
have
tell
him.
you something about
Yeah.
Fifth Ward Brewery, because
Yeah.
I don't want to take up time here
Right.
doing it, but tell me about that.
So a lot of
I'll
vendors
remind
are
you.
going to be there. We're going to have the Badger Reptile Rescue is going to be there, House Rabbit Society, Roseberry Birds. Our pet therapy group is going to be there. We're going to have some veterinarians having booths there, like Animal Hospital, Brook Falls Veterinary Hospital, and Exotic Care. Valley Veterinary Hospital, Wolf River, Stay and Play is going to be there, Touch a Class Resort. We're just, we just keep adding, and we just want to have a good time. And the morning goes fast, and I guarantee you
does.
that if you bring your dog with you, by the end of the walk, you're going to be able to take your dog home, and they're going to snooze the rest of the day, and you can go
And all night, too.
and you can do something else for the rest of the day. So it's just going to be a great day.
And, if people are concerned, as they should be in this hot weather of, dogs needing more water and so forth, they always have like community bowls of water for dogs to drink out of.
Well,
But if you want your dog to drink
And
certain water, you are certainly welcome
we've
to
added
bring
to
your
that
own.
too now. We have small bowls available that people can pour a little water out of a jug to.
Oh, that's nice, because,
some
sometimes dogs
are
don't
like-
want to drink out of that thing that you take on walks with you.
Yeah, or
know?
they look at the bucket and they go, ew, I'm not drinking out of that. So we've solved that. So we have the
Yay.
swimming pools on the walk, and just a lot of fun. And we've been doing this for a number of years, and it just never seems to get old. So
Right.
we're hoping that a lot of people will come out. And our goal this year, I believe, is to raise $75,000. So.
Okay.
We set our goals high, and we have a presenting sponsor this year. Generac is a presenting sponsor this year, and I really would appreciate it if everybody would go to our website. If you go under events and you can look up the walk, please notice all the sponsors that we have and tell them thank you. Thank you for sponsoring this event, because they really help us get all the bells and whistles together to
you
make it a
bet.
great event.
And patronize their businesses,
Yeah.
if it's a business that you can patronize.
Yep.
I mean, some things you can't really, but,
Yep.
the ones that you can, please do so. Okay, and again, you don't have to walk, you don't have to have a pet to come. If you just want to see a bunch of pets, have a wonderful, wonderful time. You're right, Cheryl, the time does go by quickly, and so if people are walking, what time does registration for the walk start?
Well, it starts at 8:30.
So it's just,
Yeah,
you're jumping right
8:30.
into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, registration, and we will have pre-registration. That'll be in the brochure that's on our website. So you can pre-register, so if you want to get your t-shirt the day before, not the day before, but probably 2 days before, we're going to have some advanced registration.
Okay.
And so you can get all set, because a lot of times people don't want to be futzing around with that, especially if they've got 1 or 2 dogs with them.
Right.
And we try to have extra volunteers so that, you come with your dog and you're kind of fumbling. We have a volunteer that will say, can I hold your dog for you?
Yeah.
And these are not people that are going to, that don't know how to handle your dog. They're just there to help you have an easier time of it while you're there.
Sure.
And so we try to make everything as smooth as possible. And then the walk itself, we usually let people come and get acquainted a little bit, and then the walk itself probably will start around 10 o'clock. And that's when Iava or one of our spokespeople will get up there and say a welcome and tell them what all is going to be going on. Because here again, people are so busy, they want to see the vendors, they want to see the basket raffle, they want to go to the fire department and all the other booths. And a lot of times the booths have, little trinkety things that they're giving away. And we'll probably have our prize wheel there where you spin for a prize. It's just always a great morning, and a blink of an eye, it's over.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when you consider all the months and months of preparation that you guys do for this, and then it's like Christmas shopping,
Yeah.
You spend weeks and months sometimes looking for just those right gifts, wrapping them and paying for them and all
Right.
that, and then
Right.
especially with
Well,
kids, they're just torn open in a
and
blink of
I
an
always
eye.
think of the walk, it's a celebration. If we meet our goal, and even if we don't meet our goal, but I'm hoping that we meet our goal, it's a celebration for everybody,
Yeah.
because everybody makes it possible that we've reached our goal. And it's also a celebration to have all these pet-loving people together all in one place and enjoying each other's company. And, we do have a few people that they bring their cats in strollers, and we're always very cautious to tell them, be careful. Yava did come last year. She had Cosmo, her other parrot.
Gizmo and Cosmo. All right.
He was there for a while last year, and but here again, it's primarily a dog walk. And of course, we do ask all dogs be vaccinated that are attending, and that they
And leashed.
And leashed. They need to be on a leash, and we do really, really stress no retractable leashes. Have your dog on a loose leash, and so
I don't
it's
think
easier
people
to
really
control.
understand the potential for disaster, with retractable leashes. And we can talk a little bit about that.
Later.
Well, soon after this.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure we get to everything.
Okay.
But as far as the money goes that you're trying to raise, if for some reason you're not going to walk and you just want to make a donation to the shelter for the walk, please make sure to put somewhere, if you're mailing something in, put it on the bottom of your check in the memo line, or send them a note or whatever, that it is for the medical fund, because
Right, or
otherwise it'll just go into your general fund, right?
Or just say, walk for the animals.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. The memo
Yeah.
part, if you write out a check, just say walk for the animals. And no matter, I don't know exactly when Christina starts doing this, but as donations come in and when the form goes out, because we do send a form out, if people send that back, that's our first note. But if you're like me, sometimes I throw my mail out and then I go, I didn't do this. Just mark on there, walk for the animals.
And if they're doing it online, because that's probably how I'll do it, that's how I've always done it.
Yep.
I can't remember, though, with the walk.
There should be a special fund
Okay,
for that special
so I
area.
can- people can
It's
just
just
put it in
like if
there.
you're doing a memorial, or if you're doing a membership,
Yeah.
or you're giving to the Cuddles Fund, or to the, I can't think of, the silver, what is it called? Terrible.
Whatever fund you're giving
Yeah,
for, there's
a
usually
special
place.
form. You just go to under donations, and then they'll all pop up, and you click one that you want to give to, and that way we'll make sure that money gets to the right place. And and it helps with our medical fund, because every animal, it's sad to say, but every single animal that comes to us needs some kind of medical care. Maybe it would be something as simple as they have a mild ear infection, or they need their vaccinations, or maybe they've got a skin rash, but there's always something. We don't get we very seldom get in an animal that has a 100% clean bill of health, that they don't need a distemper vaccination or a rabies vaccination or treatment for parasites such as ticks or fleas.
Sure.
And we automatically test, check or treat for fleas and ticks because, especially ear mites in cats. So this fundraiser covers, those costs for us.
Okay, yep, and it's, so 75,000 is what you're trying to get. Do you remember last year how much you got?
No.
It was, I thought it was close to 70,000, but I can't remember for sure either.
I think it was.
But,
I think it was.
so I think 75,000 is
I should
doable.
tell them they should put that on our website. What we're raising, and
Yeah.
what did we do before? It might be on my little cheat sheet here, but I'm not finding it. But
Well, whatever it is, I have no doubt that the people in this community will step up as they always do. Over the years, I've been associated with you guys since I moved back here in '93. And I'd been gone 12 years. I can't remember if I was involved with the shelter before I left, but when I came back in '93, I started getting involved with the shelter.
Yeah.
And
you're like me, you've been around a long time.
yeah, and our hair is showing it, and our
Yeah, well, at least we still have hair.
we do still have hair. That is one good thing, but it's thinning.
Yeah, well, tell me about it.
So, but I have no doubt that the people in this community will step up as they always have. And so talking about money, now I want to shift to something that is not as pleasant to talk about, but last year the shelter was dealt some budget cuts. Our city manager and our police chief decided that they felt, based on what other cities were doing, that Oshkosh Area Humane Society could do without some of the money that it was getting from the city. And, excuse me, so it, at first it was about a 43% cut, and then you guys went in and negotiated, wait, was it 43%? 43,000. It wasn't 43%, right?
No, I don't remember.
I don't either. Well, it was a huge cut, and I do think it was 43,000. But it was a big cut, and something that you guys just weren't going to take lying down. And so the Humane Society sat down and negotiated with the city, and you ended up coming to, I think a reasonable amount, but nonetheless, how did the city, I don't want to say overcome, because I don't think you can overcome something when you're cut by 40 grand. But how did you guys compensate for that? How did you negotiate, I hate to use that word, around some of the other things so that you could still perform the things, the various things that you guys do?
Well, we just knew from the get-go, nothing was going to change at the shelter. We are not going to change our standard of care for the animals. And so we did kind of move some of our priorities around.
Sure.
And we've become very creative with more fundraising and incorporating some of that fundraising into additional services that we offer to the public. And so, you get a little money from over here and a little money from over there, and you make up that difference. And so it was something that we needed to get used to, and I think the people in the city of Oshkosh, I can't talk to all of them, but I think there's some confusion still as to what people should do if they find a stray animal after hours. And I just want to reiterate that it used to be that you would call the police department, and then the police department would call our on-call person, and now you just call the police department, and the police department will either arrange to meet you at the shelter with the animal, or they will come and pick up the animal. And so we're not involved with that at all. And I did have a very positive experience. I did get a call one night from my executive director. An officer had gotten a call about a domestic bunny. Somebody found a domestic bunny in the middle of the night. Cute little Dutch bunny. And he was not sure exactly what he should do, so he had the foresight to reach out to someone from the shelter. And because I lived the closest, I got chosen, and I met him over there. And it was very nice to see how concerned he was about the rabbit, because we have this night drop area that's all set up with cages with water and food and whatever. But we very, very seldom get a stray domestic bunny in. And for those people who don't know, bunnies have to eat continuously. They can't really go without food. And we did not realize that in the night drop area, we hadn't provided any hay for the bunnies. So my director called me and she said, would you mind going over there? And I said, no, I'd be happy to. And like I said, I met him there and the person who found the rabbit, and we got the bunny safe and we got food for it. And I was glad that I was there, because I got there before the police officer did. And the person was there with the bunny, but also there was another car in the parking lot. And it was, and I thought, I'm here for the bunny. I don't know what they're doing over there, so I'm going to let the officer, because you don't know who could be sitting in a parked car.
You don't know anything
because
these days about people.
It was after 9 o'clock. And so he went over and talked to the people in the car, and they had a cat in a carrier that they were just going to leave at the shelter. And so he came back into the shelter and he said, there's another person over here with a cat. And I said, then you have, go ahead and bring it in and fill out the paperwork and do whatever you have to. But, and so it just was nice that if they have any questions, the fact that hopefully they'll call and ask, because it is different.
Well, it's very fortuitous, I think, that bunny, brought you guys to the shelter at the same time that those people were just going to drop off and just leave it. It never ceases to amaze me how cruel some people are, whether they just tie an animal up at downtown, not downtown Oshkosh, but just in a downtown area, tie it up to a pole and walk away. And, or I've seen them just drop them off in the country.
By the shelter, we have this little public library, those little mini libraries.
Yeah.
And one of our staff came into work one morning, and there was a dog tied to it. And, no information, and we try not to be judgmental. It is our job, and we feel the majority of people that I know that work at our shelter, we all feel the same way. When you bring your animal to the shelter, whether you have to surrender it or whatever the reason is that you have to bring this animal in, you're doing the right thing. We're not judging you. We want to help this animal, and we want to help you, and the best way for you to help that animal is to give us a history. Tell us about this animal. Because a lot of times we don't know, are they current on a rabies shot? And if they're not, that's okay. We can take care of that. Do they like children? Do they like other pets? Do they,
These are all things that are important to rehoming an animal.
Are they on a special diet? We've had animals come in that, thank heaven for our veterinarian, we find out that, oh my gosh, this cat is diabetic, or this dog has, a health problem. And so please, don't just leave them somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you truly want to see your animal go to a good home, to be rehomed in the best possible place that it can be rehomed to, leave it in the hands of the shelter, but talk to them. Tell them. And if you're a resident in the city, I don't even think there's a surrender fee, is there?
Nope. We ask for a donation. We ask if you possibly can make a donation, because every penny helps. Because you have to remember, every single animal that comes to us gets a full medical exam.
Right, yep.
And
we talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's thorough, and it's for the animals,
and if
own well-being.
If we have elderly animals, we do blood work. We check to see if they need a dental. We can't possibly do a dental on every single animal, but we want to make sure that every animal that is placed goes home as healthy as it can be.
Yes.
In fact, we recently, I hope this doesn't jump too forward for you.
It might be.
Let's
see what you got.
We recently were able to, we had a cat come in. He came in as a stray, and our veterinarian recognized that there was something wrong with him, more than usual, and I don't know exactly how she diagnosed it or if she diagnosed it, but we took him down. We arranged to send him down to a cardiologist, and he evidently had been born with a hole in his heart. And we put a plea out, and Oshkosh, you are wonderful. Everybody, well, Oshkosh and surrounding, whoever donated to Captain Kramer.
Captain Kramer.
He had his open heart surgery, and he is doing just wonderful.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, he's about a 1-year-old cat, and he's just the nicest, sweetest boy. But those are the kinds of things that we can do because of the support of the community.
Absolutely. Okay, so the contract with the city, some people may not be aware of this, but the shelter has a contract with the city. The city is required, I think, to have such a contract in place to take care of stray animals and that kind of thing. And so the current contract that you guys negotiated and are currently working under, I believe, expires. It's sometime at the end of the year. I believe it's the 28th of
December.
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere in there.
But for sure, it would expire at, on the 31st, for sure. Has there been, budget hearings and talks are going on right now?
Not that I'm aware of,
city,
and
so,
that's where Iava would have been,
she would have
key
been
to
good
be
for
here. I think we're all keeping track of, what's working, what's not working, and then to negotiate again.
Yeah.
And
Well,
see where it leads us.
hopefully you won't have to do any negotiation. Hopefully they'll just give you the money that you need, and well, seriously, and be done with it. Because to continue cutting, it's not allowing you guys to do what it is you need to do.
Right. Well, and I think it's important too that people that are using the services, they need to speak up to, it can't all fall on the shelter. The community has to voice their opinion.
And they did. They certainly did this last year. They let the city manager know in no uncertain terms, and they probably let the police chief know also that, you can't just compare Oshkosh with other communities because there's no comparison.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
It's apple, know. And even, every animal shelter, we all have the same common goal.
Sure.
Our goal is to take care of the animals and find them good homes. And everybody's dancing as fast as they can. But every shelter has their own rules and regulations on how they operate.
They all do things in their own way.
Right, and I appreciate the fact that our community has really rallied for the way the shelter has, does things, because we
talked about vaccinations a little bit earlier, and so I want to touch on that. Keeping pets vaccinated is always important for their health, and rabies vaccines are actually the law in most places.
So state law.
Yep, state law. And in order to get a pet licensed, a dog or a cat licensed, I know in Oshkosh and surrounding areas, and I would be willing to bet throughout the state, you must show proof of vaccination. And the city, Oshkosh, is nice because they also give you a break on the price of a license if you can show that your dog or cat has been spayed or neutered.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's a nice little perk for getting your pet neutered or spayed. But you guys have, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but you set up some low-cost vaccination clinics that you have there because not everyone can afford to take their pet to a veterinarian. Some people don't even have a veterinarian, and I want to touch on that tonight also. So tell us about how often you hold the clinics.
Sure.
And, do they do anything other than just vaccinate? And what are they vaccinated for besides rabies?
I think I read since 1924, I think it was, pet Pet care has increased by 42%.
Pet care.
Yeah, pet care, including veterinary costs. So it's gone up. And so, and there's a veterinarian shortage, not just in Wisconsin, in the whole United States.
Yes.
And so people are finding it more and more difficult to get in to see their veterinarian. A lot of times if you have an emergency, they can't even get you in. You got to go to Blue Pearl, or now there's some other, and now there's another place that's open called Transcend that you can get in more quickly. But for people that just want to, make sure that their pet is up to date on their vaccinations, I'll give you an example. Had somebody call, and I had this happen to me. We were going to go out of town, and we were going to board our dog, and I went and looked at his papers, and I went, oh shoot, his Bordetella is expired. And Bordetella is for kennel cough. And a lot of places where you board your dog, you have to have proof of rabies, distemper, and Bordetella.
Yeah, and Bordetella should not be, it wasn't called Bordetella because you're boarding your animal.
Right, it's for kennel cough.
Yes.
And
Which is highly
so I
contagious.
quickly, called my vet, and I was very lucky that they were able to get me in so that I could get that shot. But that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We all are so busy in our lives, and we don't always keep all the records that we should keep. And so we started out having these low-cost vaccination clinics, and they're funded through grants. And so sometimes when people come to the clinic, the distemper vaccinations will be free. Sometimes they'll be $20. Rabies vaccination will be $20. Microchips are $25, and sometimes we're working on how can we get the costs down even further. But you're not paying any office call. You're not paying for any disposal, of gloves or anything like that. You're just paying for that. And so we've been doing 4 to 5 of these a year, the big clinics. We started out doing them in our parking lot because we don't have room inside the shelter. And our medical coordinator, Tawana Hahnemann, she gets volunteer veterinarians to come and volunteer their time. And that's a big thing, to ask someone who's worked all week with animals to come and give of their time on a Sunday. And the
Are they
clinics,
always on a Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're usually from 10 until 1. And you have to show up before, you have to have your papers filled out before noon. So people have to come early. And it's first come, first serve. We're not taking any appointments. You get there, you park.
Okay.
And now we've moved it inside, and we've got quite a flow going. We've got 2 veterinarians that are usually in our education room, 1 veterinarian who's in our administration office, and another one in our night drop area, not the night drop area, but the volunteer room. And we funnel dogs one way and cats another way, and if people bring both, we've now got a number system that we're working with, so that, and when people come, they can, let's say that you bring your dog, and you say that your dog has already had a rabies vaccination. Well, if your dog has already had a rabies vaccination, you need to show the veterinarian something that says this dog was vaccinated on such and such a date. And if they didn't, you can't get the rabies shot. So we always remind people, bring your papers with you. And then when you're all done, you can sign up, beforehand you can sign up for Bordetella, distemper, rabies vaccination, and a microchip if you want a microchip. Those are the only things that we offer.
Okay.
The nice thing that impresses me is that every animal is quickly examined by a veterinarian, because only a veterinarian can give a rabies vaccination.
Right.
And so kittens or dogs or puppies and cats are given a quick overhaul, and the veterinarian is able to say to this person, oh, I noticed that it looks like your dog has the start of a ear infection or whatever, needs to see a vet. So it's more than just coming in, poking them in the butt, and you go on your way.
Yeah.
And then you're given the information and reminded. I tell people when I give them that proof of vaccination, I tell them, put this in a safe place, keep it to next year so you can bring it in, or better yet, take a picture and put it on your phone. And that way you can show it that you have proof that that vaccination has been done. So we have a vaccination clinic coming up September 20th and October 11th.
All right.
No appointment necessary. Again, I'm going to direct people to our website. Go to ohs.org under services, and it'll say vaccination clinics, and it'll give a list of all of that and what you need to do to attend.
We are running out of time.
Oh my goodness, can't believe that.
I know, so let's just hit the basics on some of these things. The importance of spaying and neutering dogs and cats. We touched on it very briefly, but you know, do you think, Cheryl, that the city will ever be at a place where we can offer low to no cost spay and neuter clinics?
I don't know.
Okay, that's an honest answer.
I
would like to see us move in that direction.
I would like to see the whole United States move in that direction, that everything should be spayed and neutered.
Oshkosh.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to know, I consider spaying and neutering an investment in your pet, because it can prevent your animals from getting certain kinds of cancer. It can prevent your female dog or cat from getting pyometra, which can be deadly, fatal. It's an infection of the uterus. It makes your pet more easy to handle, less likely to roam and to get into fights. So to me, it's a big win. And I think you're absolutely right. I am finding that if people can get low-cost spay-neuter, they will spay and neuter their pet.
Yes. I volunteer with such a effort on a Native American reservation. That's about an hour, about 2 hours from here. And, you know, they do low-cost spay-neuter usually once a year, sometimes twice a year, and it's just for people who live on the reservation. But they do probably around anywhere from 45 to 70 dogs on that particular Saturday. Yep, it's all done outpatient. It's set up like a MASH unit, you know, in military times.
We have a portable unit that comes.
Volunteered. In fact, someone from Oshkosh, a veterinarian here, brings his staff, and they volunteer their time.
And we have a group that comes to our shelter called Underdogs, and they offer low-cost spay-neuter. We have nothing to do with them. All we do is we provide it when they say they want to come. They take care of setting up all the appointments. We only offer them our education room to talk to owners when they drop their animal off. So occasionally, again, that's another reason, visit our website, see if some of those types of things are coming up under our events. And they offer low-cost spay-neuter, and we also have other low-cost spay-neuter options on our website. We want people to have easy access to this information.
So, I just lost my train of thought, Cheryl. But it did have to do with spaying and neutering. Oh, I know what it was. You had mentioned microchipping. Microchipping is a wonderful way to make certain that your pet can get a ticket home if it happens to run away, gets lost, you know, whatever. Most recent thing with the tornadoes, some animals were displaced during that time, and you know, you don't always have your collar on. Right. Or you can easily slip out of a collar. So, you know, collars with name tags are great, but if they slip out of the collar or they don't have it on for some reason, say they just had a bath or whatever, you know, microchipping is the best way to make sure that they get home too, and it's not that expensive.
There's something new that's coming up. There are some cities that have a microchip station, where if you find an animal, you can go to that microchip station and you can scan. Police departments have scanners, so now the police department, they can scan for an animal and see if they can find out where that animal goes rather than having to take them to the shelter. And of course, the shelter itself has, you know, those scanners to help those animals get home. But it's so important. It doesn't help to have a microchip if you move and you don't update the chip.
Right, exactly correct. That's what I was going to say. It's you know, and register it as soon as you get the pet microchipped. You know, some
Yep.
people don't even register it.
Well, see, and that's one of the nice things when we do microchips through our clinics, we register it for you.
Okay.
We take care of all of that for you, and then we send you the papers and whatever.
Okay.
So, but it's so important. It's no different than having a tag on your pet.
Yeah.
You have to update your address and your phone number. And I don't know how often some people, they get a new phone, they get a new number, and you don't think to update that on your pet, and then your pet is out there floating in space. The nice thing for pets from our shelter, and I think other shelters do it too, let's say that my dog gets out and he ends up, maybe I'm in Appleton visiting my sister and my dog gets loose and he ends up at Appleton. They scan him and it says that, and they can't get a hold of me. My dog's chip also connects him to Oshkosh Area Humane Society, and they can call the society and say, do you know how to get a hold of these people? And
There's
give them a
also
place home.
things that you can buy now online that, you know, you enter your information, including the pet's name, and it's a tag. It's called Bite Tag, B-Y-T-E, because it's a technological thing. So Bite Tag, and you register everything, and you put the tag on the dog, and you know, if someone finds the dog or the cat, there's a QR code on the back.
Wow.
And it's linked directly
That's
to
awesome.
you. Yep. And there are other ones out there too, like Bite Tag. That just happens to be one that I use. And so it's, I tried it just to test how it would work.
Yeah.
And it works beautifully.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to touch on something here because we're down to like 12 minutes.
Okay.
And so this is something else that's really not very pleasant, but I feel I have to bring it up. And I wish that Iava was here to better answer this. But you guys know what an advocate and a friend of the shelter and a supporter of the shelter I've been for all these years. But and I always want what's best for the shelter. But I have heard from some people in the community, not a lot, but I have heard from a few people. I've also had a family member who has had this happen to them, that the shelter has changed, and it does not seem to be as adopter-friendly or user-friendly as it once was. And people have said, I don't feel like they understand, you know, how many times we've adopted from them. I think some of that, they felt like just a number instead of a person or a family or a couple. And I think some of that comes from the shelter growing, you know, and a lot of people who used to be there are no longer there. And so that's also true. But, you know, is there a way, and you may not be able to answer this, but is there a way within your computer system that, okay, Cheryl Hentz wants to adopt a dog. I've not adopted in recent years, so most of the volunteers and staff don't necessarily know me. But is there a way to enter in the system, okay, Cheryl Hentz has adopted such and such a dog on such and such a date, and such a dog on such and such a date, so that people can refer to something before the person comes in. And then, I'm not saying give them preferential treatment, but they may not need to go through all the hoops and ring all the bells and whistles that someone else might have to. Is there a way to do that? Or how would you reassure, okay, now we're down to 10 minutes. We really need 2 hours. But is there a way to make this more user-friendly or something? Because you've got a lot of volunteers, I think a couple hundred volunteers.
We don't have as many volunteers. Primarily, our adoptions are mostly, you know, and adoptions are always done by staff. And we've always had a policy where it's not first come, first serve.
Right.
And things change over time. I'll use myself as an example. I've adopted several animals from our shelter. And I have to, depending upon the pet that I'm looking at adopting, our adoption staff may recommend that I not adopt a particular pet that I'm interested and sway me to a different pet. Would they actually deny me I don't think they would.
They better not.
But they may sway me to consider a different animal.
Sure,
So I
and
don't,
that's for the best
so-
of the animal and the family.
yeah. So I don't work that closely with our, I work very closely with our cat adoption staff because, truth be told, when they send a cat out to be adopted, and if there's any problem happening with that cat, as the cat counselor, I get those
You get 'em,
calls.
yeah.
So I can't say that we're turning, we're not allowing people to adopt.
Right.
And there are some people that, do come in and say, well, I knew so-and-so, or I know so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, but so-and-so isn't here anymore, and we need to get to know you, and we need to find out what is it that you're looking for, and make the best match.
Right, but is there a way to at least put information into a computer system so that there's a sense of familiarity when that person comes in? They're not just treated like someone off the street. They have a sense of who this person is and
Well, we wouldn't know that until the person,
makes an application. I
right, makes out
understand.
an application,
But-
because then that information, we just went to a new program called Shelter Love, and everything from Pet Point went from Pet Point to Shelter Love. And so if I look me up, all my animals are still listed in there. Their records aren't there anymore, but it says all the animals that I adopted and that I have. And I don't know, and here again, if somebody has a name change or whatever, but if they don't fill out an application, if you would just come in, or we get people that come in and say, oh, I just want to look around at cats. We have no way of knowing
Right.
who that person is.
No, I understand,
So-
they have to have something
yeah.
filled out.
So,
but,
yeah. So it's unfortunate, I'm sorry to hear that somebody has had these issues, and I wish that they would, when someone has an issue like that, it kind of goes to getting a bad dinner at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Don't go around and tell everybody else in the neighborhood about your bad dinner at the restaurant. Go back to the manager, go back to the executive director.
To Iava about it.
And that is the best course of action. And, I would hope that we're not seeing that happen.
It wasn't, I haven't heard it a lot, and I'm certainly not trying to, malign the shelter's character or way of operation, because I would never, ever want to do that.
Well-
But I felt it necessary to bring it, and she could, if she was here, she would better answer that question.
Right,
But
right.
in my particular case with my family member, I did go directly to her.
Good.
And we
Yeah.
figured it out, because it was a case of an email not getting returned either.
Yes,
so-
yes.
so, yeah,
yes.
I definitely
And that
talked to her
is
about
really
that.
important. And also, we have a veterinarian on staff now. Dr. Laura's been
Yes,
with us
she's
almost 6
wonderful.
years. And she has really turned a lot of things around for us that sometimes I hear rumors of, that the shelter's not the same. Well, we can't make progress if we don't make changes. And sometimes I hear rumblings of, that we're not servicing as many animals, and that we're not getting, and I have numbers to prove that we're seeing just as many animals, if not more. But what Dr. Laura has brought to the table for us is our capacity for care. And let's say that you and I are veterinarians, or we're doctors. Could just you and I treat the whole city of Oshkosh? It's unreasonable to think that. And so we have one veterinarian and we have 2 medical staff. And when we get slammed, we had our cat meeting today, we took in over 30 cats last week. And those 30 cats need our attention. They need to be medically cleared before they can go on the adoption floor. And if anybody has any health problems or issues, that kind of puts a chink in the wheel. We can't keep moving forward until we get these 30 cats moving out. And so capacity for care, we may have to, if somebody calls and says, well, you know, I need to surrender my cat, we may have to tell them we need to put you on a wait list. It's not that we won't take your animal, but right now we don't have the capacity for care. And I don't know about you, but I would want to make sure that if I'm bringing my cat or my dog or you to the clinic for health care, that you're going to get top-notch care. And if we're stretched to beyond our capacity, we can't do that. So I think people need to have a better understanding as to how much we concentrate on those animals before we're adopting them out.
Okay, we've got 3 minutes.
Okay.
So let us, I wanted to talk about the Cuddles Fund and, continue to love match, but we don't have time for that stuff. So if you just go on the shelter's website, oahs.org, and we've been putting that up throughout the show. You can find out about all these different things because there are a tremendous amount of services that the Oshkosh Area Humane Society provides that I may not even be aware of everything. So go on their website, please. And if you've got a question about something, check out the website or give them a call. So let me just, here, you had some stats, so let's talk about those very briefly. Just give us some numbers. How many strays or surrenders have you taken in this year? Do you know?
I can tell you from May to July 31st. May 1st to July 31st, we've taken in a total of 199 strays and impounds from the city of Oshkosh.
Wow.
That's an average of 66 animals per month. That was just from within the city limits. Of those 99 animals, 64 were brought in by the police department. So approximately 32% were strays or impounds and were transported by OPD, and the rest were by the public, which was 68%.
And these are animals that fall under the contractual obligation. Not all of them, but a huge chunk of them.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got 2 minutes.
May 1st to 31st, we took in 579 animals total from all jurisdictions, including strays, impounds, and owner surrenders and transfers.
What were those dates, Cheryl?
May 1st to July 31st.
579?
Yep. That's an average of 193 animals a month. All jurisdictions, because we do serve other communities.
Okay.
Strays, impounds, and owner surrenders and transfers.
Okay.
And right now we have, in our building, right now we have 231 animals. We have 179 cats, 23 dogs, and 29 smalls.
All right, very good.
And 29
We've touched
foster
on a lot of
homes.
things. I'm sorry, what?
27 active foster homes. So I want to make a
that's
plea, if you are interested in fostering kittens of any kind, please contact us.
Do you have any animals right now that have been, never mind, we don't have time for that. Just please check out oahs.org and give them a call if you have other questions. And I'm really sorry we're running out of time here, Cheryl.
That's all right. I need to talk faster.
Or I need to have less questions.
Yeah.
But I think we got a lot of information out there.
Yes,
and it's been
thank you
good.
so much.
Go to the walk if you can on Saturday, September 12th, starting at 8:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock. And believe me, the time does go fast. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tell Yava that I hope that Gizmo turns out okay.
I hope so too.
So, thanks to the folks from the shelter for everything that they do for our community, and please support them for all those efforts. Thank you to my crew, and of course, thanks to you. We will see you next time. Until then, take good care. Keep your eye on us. We've got our eye on Oshkosh.